That girl Sophie whispers in his ear, please dig in. You can see he started going. Alright, so I just watched episode 12 Mushoku, and I guess they're gonna be going on break for a couple months or however long they said. First order of business, I am sick. I can hear myself speaking out of myself, but the sickness will go away. The hunger and the urge for grind does not go away. Alright, so the last 3 episodes of this season, I expected them to be involved in the Sylphie relationship with Rudius, but I didn't expect it to entail the whole thing, and I guess that ended up being the case. And it's like those last 3 episodes were like the final 3 stages. It felt like stages of grief, but in a different way, like stages of love. There was this stage of doubt. So I would say that's what we got with episode 10. Episode 11 was the stage of realization. And episode 12 was a stage of acceptance and embracing. That shit was beautiful. Like, I should be a poet for me. Obviously, if you haven't seen the last 3 episodes of Core 1 of season 2, I would check those out first and then hop onto this one. Going into episode 10, as I was talking about, there was that doubt, and then we were just seeing Sylphie sort of getting more into her own head than she already was, because as we saw like the previous 9 episodes, like she was obviously, there was that doubt, it was there, and we kept hearing her inner monologues, and it progressively got worse and worse. When you're loving on someone, I guess that's just what it does. If we're taking the first 12 episodes, episode 10 was probably the slowest one, because it was just Rudius going throughout his day-to-day activities. Like, he was talking to the mask girl, I think her name was Nana Hoshi or whatever. He was trying to learn a bit from her. She gave him a book to study, and then he had a little bit of dialogue with Machamp and also with Cat Dog, and that's really how the first half of that episode progressed. And then I guess Soldat ended up coming back, but he invited Rudius out to lunch. It's really evident that these shows take place during different time periods, because Soldat, first thing he says when he sees Elenice, and if I'm Clyde, I'm not taking this shit. And it's actually funny because I was having a conversation about this the other day. Realistically, if someone talked to my girlfriend in this manner, I don't think I'm instantly getting physical, you know, because I'm a very non-confrontational type of person. I don't know if I could bring myself to do so, especially with the way this world's going. But in this world, if I was as much of a magical genius as Clyde proclaims to be, I'm pulling out my stick and I'm getting to waving, because they're just having a good time partying. So that says, okay, so anyway, Alina, what on earth is a whore like you doing with a boyfriend? I know this shit's a joke. No, this shit's a joke. There's no way. Well, Soldat, have you ever considered maybe it's just not the soul dick that matters? Maybe this just shows that a real man has gotten to my heart. Who, by the way, lasts longer than 3 minutes next time. Clyde gives me at least 5 minutes plus, and I know you wouldn't expect it either. So then he heads out, and it was a short little meeting, and I'm sure we'll see him again, because I feel like in terms of Rudius's growth, he was a very important figure in his life. So then Rudius is out shopping at the market, and he sees Fitz and Lukewarm. I'm pretty sure this was Princess Ariel in disguise, and I think they say it later. But Rudius basically just goes up and he's trying to talk to Fitz. Fitz is being all shy behind Luke and all that. And he now thinks they have beef due to the previous incidents with Nana Hoshi. I was kind of confused, especially when he pulled back up to the library and then Fitz was acting like shit was normal. But we see Rudius like fall in love like hard. Like he was like naming off every single quality about Sylphie / Fitz that he is infatuated with, and he cannot get her off of his mind. I can't stop thinking about that smile, that bashful ass smile, man. That is, what a beautiful lip to nose ratio. Like, you don't get that anywhere else. Or just the smell of his jacket too when he walks past. It's like a nice little hint of sweat. It's nothing too crazy, and like it has a very feminine odor to it. Something about the way he struts too. What is wrong with me? I just don't understand. Am I in love? And this man is in so much disbelief that he goes to the head of the school and he's like, listen, doc, I need a diagnosis stat. I need info on Fitz. Why, Rudius, forgive me, but my superiors have informed me not to disclose any of Fitz's personal information to anyone around the school. Damn. At least tell me his gender though. Well, he's a male. So yeah, he's aggravated. I would be too, because I mean, the amount of mental strain he must be having right now. But he goes back to the library. From this point on, it was just a roller coaster of emotions. Not only for these 2 parties involved, I would say for me as well, because this was good. This is good. He sits down, he's like, damn, I wish I could wank my shit for real. Excuse me, nigga, what did you just utter? And then we see them fall on top of each other. Rudius is taking this time. Now, granted, I don't condone. I'm just gonna put it out there. Not condoning, but confirmed his suspicions. He says to Fitz, he's like, oh, so you are a woman. So then she's obviously flustered. She gets out of there and his device is starting to connect again. I mean, like, Rudius is definitely, he has his good moments, you know, like he sees that Fitz clearly is trying to like put on this image of a guy for whatever reason, but he's just like, if Fitz is trying to hide it, then I'm gonna keep his secret safe and I'm gonna act like nothing happened. And you gotta commend him for that, even though he is in this position himself, to where he's like fallen in love with who he thought was a man. He now finds out she's a woman, but he's still gonna do his best to respect what she wants. You know, and you gotta respect that from him. Yeah, so this is the episode of realization. So we start this episode. Good morning, Lucas. I'm surprised to see you so bright and early up in the morning. Cut the shit, Rudy. Let's talk about Fitz. I don't know anything. Rudy, stop capping with me. I have connections and you know this. Nigga, I think I got those same connections. We could go find out. That's not a big deal. Okay, listen, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know Mr. Fitz's identity. I don't know what weird shit you guys got going on. Quite frankly, I'm not interested in getting myself involved because I'm scared. I'm afraid. I'm not even the one that initiated contact. So this is a foul on her end. She startled me, fell on top of me. I felt some gookiness. I was like, damn, what are we working with here? This is too much. She runs away. I go to bed last night happy as hell. Happy as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you, cousin. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy. I was like, damn, it's been a minute since I got close to something like that. It has been. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be the man here because I understand that me and Fitz have a respect for each other. I'm gonna respect what he wants. I'm not gonna respect what she wants. I'm gonna respect what he wants because that's how he wants to go about his business in his day-to-day life. So if you don't mind, breakfast hall closes in 8 minutes, so I'm gonna go get my shit. Toodaloo. So then after that, Lukewarm goes and tells the prince. He's such a snitch. I mean, this is his job though, so I can't fault him for it. But I know, given the opportunity any day of the week, Princess Ariel is like, Lukewarm, come into bed with me. That nigga would be tucked in before she even gets the opportunity to sit down. He bends over backwards for this woman, but that's none of my business. He's doing his job, commendable. But he goes, he tells her, obviously, and Princess Ariel's getting sick of Sylphie's shit. I would be too. Sylphie, I'm gonna be honest, if I need to speak up, I will, because you need to get the fuck together. You know what I've hated the most in this life, Sylphie? Spending the last 180 days waking up day to day, seeing you twiddle your fingers in anticipation that Rudius is gonna somehow initiate this, even though you're the one that's wearing the mask. Do you want me to take that mask off? Because I'm the one that put it on. Or you could be the bigger person here and do this shit yourself. The first 75% of this episode consisted of them coming up with this plan to meet Rudius. At this point, as I'm watching, I'm not even knowing if this shit's gonna happen for the rest of the season. And like, I see people talk about how bad Rudius is, but I mean, Sylphie's ass is horny. For being honest, the shit she's been fantasizing about is a little absurd. Princess Ariel said, we're talking about Rudius the other day and how you wanted to be with him. What kind of relationship do you want? Sylphie starts giving her a whole ass TED talk and she starts getting freaky. As hell. She said, Rudy can be crude sometimes, so he might ask, how many kids do you want? So I'm thinking like humanly. Like she would just give the answer like, oh, maybe 2 or 3, because you know that's still like she's imagined having kids with the guy, so she's still overstepping boundaries, right? The shit niggas say at this show. First is the Eris thing when she was like, kitty meow meow or whatever the fuck she is. Sylphie goes, then I'll be crude too and say, oh Rudy, how many do you want to put in me? Are you fucking kidding me, man? That is something. So she's had this shit planned out from the jump, so she knows how this is gonna play out. Seems like she has the plan, she just doesn't have the execution. And then this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Then I look away for 2 seconds and the girl's gyrating the statue. Princess Ariel and Lukewarm look like they're dreading this experience. They're rethinking the whole last 6 months of their life. From what I heard in the light novels, Princess Ariel is not really the most heaven-sent person. You know, she's very criminal-like, from what I've heard though. But I like to see her taking a serious approach here, telling Sylphie straight up, this is a serious matter. And if you can't bring yourself to tell him, forget those lots of kids. You will never have a kid in your life because I forbid you from ever even looking at that nigga if you don't tell him what's going on straight up. And the plan that they thought up, very well put together, very detailed plan. I've got to give them props for it because we basically see Sylphie invite Rudius out on a quest that may have opposition, and she's playing this man like a fiddle. Rudius has got to be more aware. This is where his awareness has to come in, but I guess that ED has just got his mind all jumbled up, so all of his senses are out of whack, because we see her like controlling the weather herself and basically leading the man right where she wants him. And see, this is where I feel like that confusion with Rudius's character comes into play again whenever it gets into like explicit territory with someone that's his age in the show, because it's like we see how he approaches it and he's very respectable. He's like, I could leave, I could walk out of the cave, do whatever you got to do, just dry off your clothes, because she's trembling, she's shivering up in here. And the fact that this was all part of her plan, this is like deeper than eyes and shit. This is like, this is working, and it's working good. She says, I can't take my clothes off and dress me. All right, come on, man. Give me a break. We're not doing this here, man. We're not. I was getting excited at the same time though, because now hopefully she will reveal himself to him. She's getting very extreme here though, because I'm reading the dialogue as I'm like talking. She's like, I might die unless you remove my clothes. We got a campfire set up, just sit here. But he does this whole little undressing sequence, and then he's like, Fitz? Yes, Rudeus? By chance is your name Sylphiette? Yes, Rudy. And I'm like, fine, a fucking lead. Damn, this was one of those satisfying moments. This was like probably on par with Luffy punching the hell out of that celestial dragon. They hug it out. She says her I love you. She says I want to stay with you forever. And I was like, damn, that's good. And then lastly, episode 12, which I felt like was even better. We start off that next episode. They're about to get freaky in the cave, and his shit is working, but then it disconnects again. Sucks, happens, but it is developed. And it's the fact that I'm sitting here. They really made the first half of this season a whole character arc about ED. It's fucking working, and it worked, and it just doesn't make sense. But it does at the same time when you not only take it as a joke, but take it seriously as well. Because in real life, that ED shit, it's not only a physical thing, but it's also a mental thing. Because once you see any signs of that shit not working, then mentally it could just send you into like a loop. No matter how controversial the show is and how illegal this shit is with Rudeus, it's like not only Rudeus, just all of the characters. It's just they're really not afraid to like go the more real route with a lot of like the characters' dialogues and the characters' problems. And I just keep stressing that every time I do a video on this show, because I think that's its best quality. And obviously due to the Sarah incident, I'm sure he has PTSD about this shit now. And he's like, Sylvie, I'm sorry, girl. I know we just met 12 years. I don't even know how long it's been, and I've embarrassed you. I promise it's not you, but you're probably not even gonna believe me. It's been like this for 3 years, I swear. I'm sorry. Rudy, stop. I can't. I know I've embarrassed you. I've embarrassed. Rudy, you didn't embarrass anyone, all right? But stop with the formal talk. Stop with that. Man, girl, you know I was just joking. I was actually crying. And they have like a little just dialogue sequence talking in the cave, talking about the necklace, walk together, hug. And I'm like, just seeing her be real with Rudeus and seeing them catch up. It was very nice to see. And I was hating on Lukewarm this whole time, but he was definitely real for this. You know, he understands. I think I talked about this briefly in the video where Rudeus got with Sarah. I just feel like a lot of ladies don't understand like how serious this matter is if you let it really get to your head. Because Sylphie is like asking the princess for a remedy to cure Rudeus of his impotence. Princess Ariel starts roasting the nigga. She's like, it seems as if I've overestimated this Rudeus fellow. I mean, like, what a loser at the time, right? That's gotta like, I wouldn't go that far, princess. I'm with you 99% of the time, but this is that one. Because it's not like Rudeus chose for his shit to go gummy. Imagine being a professional basketball player pulling up to the game and not knowing how to shoot a ball. Imagine being a race car driver going to sit at the wheel and then forget how to drive a car. You just don't get it, princess. And it seems to me you haven't been with enough men to even know. I beg your pardon. Princess, you're cool. You just have to understand, like, I couldn't let that one slide. This is my cousin. So Sylphie, are you trying to put Molly all in Rudeus' champagne? Well, will he know it? Yeah, he'll know. We're not drugging around here. Lukewarm has been the MVP. He's sticking up for family, and he comes back with a horny aphrodisiac. And not only did he tell the princess off, I mean, I don't even think this comment towards Sylphie was warranted, but she has been running amok for a little bit. So I think he just had to ground her really quick. Because he pulls up to Ariel and she's giving Sylphie an example of how she should approach Rudeus by like doing like a shoulder like show thing. And princess, we're in the middle of winter. How would it even make sense if Sylphie starts undressing in the cold? Either way, she has manly shoulders, so would it really even matter? Luke, I mean, like, you're on a fucking tear today. What is your problem? Your Highness, I beg your pardon, but the Grey Rat lineage has been drawn to the thickest of women in all of the land for generations past and generations to come. So, I mean, this is sort of a genetic thing. Like, no offense, Sylphie, I don't find you attractive whatsoever. 2 out of 10 max. I mean, like, come on. But no, so that aside, they brought that horny aphrodisiac for Rudeus. Sylphie goes to his room, and I'm thinking that she's just gonna drug the man. But they get together. She says she's gonna spend the night. Looks like they got some wings, popcorn set up. It's a little awkward, but it's the second day. We're already sleeping over, so we're already moving kind of fast. So, I mean, how about that airline food? It's crazy, right? It's like salty, but like not at the same time. It's weird. I ain't never heard of no airline in my life. What is that? Damn straight. Man, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But no, so she presents him the horny medicine. And the way that this scene started playing out, it was very tense. Like, we see some time pass, and then Sylphie's huffing and puffing, sweating up a storm. We see Rudeus, that nigga is high as hell. Why is he even biting his jerky like that? He's biting that shit like how Squidward bit the Krabby Patty. And Sylvie goes for a popcorn kernel. Rudy grabs her wrist. She said, "You can't resist." Nods his head. Man, if he gets with Roxy, because obviously he has his little obsession with Roxy, I'm interested to see what the fuck she's got in store. Because as I said, Eris whispered in that nigga's ear, make kittens with me. That girl Sophie whispers in his ear, "Please dig in." You can see he started going instantaneously. That nigga was feral. That shit was like a primal fucking switch. I wouldn't even need an aphrodisiac if I'm in this scenario. Obviously, if someone my age, let's not be stupid here. If I'm like, yeah, I can't resist, whispers in my ear, "Please dig in." Don't mind if I do. Let me go get my bib. Let me go get my bib. The veins of this nigga's eyes are popping out. I'm sure he got the most wicked goosebumps after that statement. And he took her to that one song by Sexy Red. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, he woke up the next morning and it was very heartwarming. Sylvie walks around the corner. She's like, "Good morning." But no, he's hugging her and he starts crying. And then his shit's instantaneous. Like, you cured me. And it's like, you'd think this would be a joke, but I'm sitting here watching this about to cry myself because it feels like a very like man-to-man type of problem. And like when you do get that satisfaction of like fixing that solution specifically, if that has ever happened to anyone, it's like a very like empowering type of thing. And then at the end of the episode, Ariel's briefing him on everything, and then she's just talking about how she would like his support in exchange for her support, and they would have like a mutual agreement. And then he explains his situation, talking about how he's trying to find his family. And then she's like, "Surely you wouldn't go and leave Sylvie by herself to go and figure out your family situation." So then he looks down and then he's like, "Yeah, you're damn right, because I'm gonna go marry Sylvie." And that honestly caught me off guard. I didn't expect that shit to happen so early, but it made sense. Sylvie's in shock. Ariel's just like, "Well, Sylvie, if you're going to be married to Rudius, you're not gonna need these anymore." And then they retire the aviator glasses, and then she becomes Sylvie at Grey Rat. Simple as that. And that is the end of Core 1. And I will say, I was definitely iffy. Like, while I've been given these first couple episodes and the season as a whole like high 8 ratings, you know, it's because it's still been an enjoyable experience and I've just always liked the show. I was definitely questioning whether or not I would be satisfied by the end of Core 1, mainly due to the whole Sylvie thing. You know, that's mainly what it was, because I didn't want this to still be the main plot point going into the second core of season 2, because I felt like that would have definitely taken away from some of the content that they could have given us. But I'm glad that they got it all figured out now. So then going into this second core, whatever the conflict may be or however they approach the situation, that we don't even have to focus on this part anymore. And what I'm hoping, because I don't see a reason why they would introduce Machamp and Clyde and Elena like in their relationship, or like the Juliet, the slave girl, or the two girls. Like, obviously they are students and friends of Rudius, so I mean they were gonna introduce them one way or another. I don't see why they would take like an episode or 2 episodes to like deal with all of their matters and their relationships at the beginning of this season, in turn to not mention them again. With this concluding the first half of this season, I will say I'm very satisfied, because like I already know if I started watching this season today and I just binged it all 12 episodes through, it would be a different experience than watching it weekly. I would probably enjoy it even more just because I don't have to wait a week. But having to wait that week for 5 separate weeks, or like 6, 7 separate weeks, just hoping for Rudius and Sylvie to get together, it's like it did become annoying at times and tedious, and that is why I was taking points off. And I also heard that there was like a bunch of light novel stuff that they kind of skipped over, which is like, I understand, but I just hope we get a bit more of that in the next core. But overall, first half of this season was good. Mushoku is always a good time, and I know it's controversial, but show's not meant for everyone, I guess. I don't know, but it's none of my business. But overall, I'm gonna put my episode ratings on the screen because I think I need time to think about those ratings individually. But as a whole, first half of season 2, I would give it like an 8.4, 8.5. Just because altogether it's like the beginning portion with Sarah and Rudius, and so that was very interesting. He gets to the school, and the whole Sylvie thing, the way it was handled just annoyed me at times. And I feel like there was just some information and context missed in the midst of everything, and some things could have been specified a bit deeper. And maybe some of the times it was just me not reading and paying attention. For the most part, it was a very enjoyable watch. I loved all the characters that were introduced. I really do like Princess Ariel. I liked Lukewarm. Nanahoshi, she's cool too. Yeah, all the characters for the most part are enjoyable in their own ways. So yeah, but without further ado, see, I was gonna start Zom 100 and I did a poll on it, but I saw it was indefinitely put on hiatus again. I'm not even gonna bother. I don't think there's a point in me stepping into that world when I won't even know if I'll finish season 1 until the beginning of next year, or whenever they decide to make those last 3 episodes. So with Eminence and Shadow coming back in like a week or so, a couple weeks, I'm gonna start season 1. I'll make a video on that. I'm probably gonna do a Bleach video as well, since Bleach is ending on... Bleach may have already ended actually by the time I post this video. So yeah, also me and my friends are starting up a podcast in about a week or 2, if we haven't started it up already, but I'm gonna put that information in the description as well. I'd appreciate it if people went and sub to that, because that's gonna be a good time as well. And road to 100K. And without further ado, on to the next one.